Hey guys, so tonight for dinner I am making a veggie pasta dish and I am using homemade sauce that I made over the summer with a plethora of tomatoes that were gifted to us all summer long. And as far as the homemade sauce, this is the easiest homemade pasta sauce you can ever make. After I make it, I freeze it flat in the freezer in bags because then when I need it, I can defrost it within a matter of hours because it defrosts so quickly, as opposed to freezing it in jars or containers. And this sauce, you basically chop up all your fresh homegrown tomatoes, onions, garlic, some spices and seasonings, and you roast everything in the oven and you put everything in the blender after it cools down and you just blend it until it's smooth and almost like creamy texture. No need to sit there boiling tomatoes and peeling tomatoes and stewing the tomatoes all day long to make sauce. This is a quick and easy way to make homemade sauce. And then you have homemade sauce in the freezer whenever you want it all winter long from all the tomatoes that were grown in the summer. I am going to be mixing this homegrown sauce with some part skim ricotta cheese to make like a creamy tomato sauce to put over that spinach pasta. And the sauce is going to be so creamy and good. It's if you were to get that at a restaurant, you would think it would have cream in it, but it's just part skim ricotta and this homemade creamy tomato sauce. Amazing. You can still make this recipe with jar sauce. It just won't be as creamy as if you used your homemade tomato sauce made in the blender like this. But if you want to try making the homemade sauce in the future, I'm going to try to put the link to the homemade sauce in the comments for this video. So if you're going to make this one night, just take the sauce out in the morning, leave it on the counter, and it'll be defrosted by the time you go make dinner. Okay, I'll see you tonight. So for tonight for dinner, we're having pasta with oven roasted tomatoes, garlic, and mushrooms, and some basil. And the sauce is going to be some homemade pasta sauce and some ricotta cheese. So it's going to be like a creamy tomato yummy pasta. And I'm using this gorgeous spinach pasta imported from Italy, but at my local produce market, it's $3 and change, which is a great price for this. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get a good amount of olive oil in here. We're going to do about a cup of olive oil because that's going to be part of the sauce with the tomatoes and the roasted garlic. It's going to be delicious. Okay, so we got about 3/4 of a cup of olive oil in here. That's extra virgin olive oil. We are going to add a handful of garlic cloves, just like this. You can even do a little bit more because once this roasts in the oven for about 45 minutes, this is going to get sweet. It's not going to have that strong garlic flavor. Okay. So that's the oven. It's ready. It's preheated at 325. And I'm going to throw tomatoes in here. I'm going to roast these gorgeous tomatoes. This is cherry tomatoes. Actually, they're grape tomatoes, I think, because of the shape. And now, I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to cut up some of these mushrooms, just in big slices like this. And I left the stems on. All I did was trim the bottom of the stems. But the stems are just as good as the buttons, the caps. Okay, so we have the mushrooms. This is about a cup of mushrooms. Bring you back over here. Put the mushrooms in there. About half an onion. Take this outside layer off. Very tough. Okay. Just like that. And we're going to cut this. so we're gonna throw this in there. I'm gonna sprinkle this with some salt, black pepper, and a little bit of Italian seasoning. So we got the black pepper. We got some Italian seasoning. Just like that. We're gonna do some salt. Just like that. Give all of this a nice toss to get everything coated in the oil. Just like this. Okay, and that is it. Okay, so you're gonna pop this in the oven at 325, and you're gonna let it roast for about 40 minutes, and then you check it. Because the tomatoes are gonna get nice and sweet, the mushrooms are gonna get soft, the garlic is gonna get soft and sweet. It's gonna be so good. Okay, so this just came out of the oven. It's been in the oven at 325. And it's sizzling. It smells divine. But I don't think it's ready. Why? Because the garlic is not completely creamy yet. It still has a little bit of, I still have to press a little bit to get it to, so I'm going to give this a stir. And I'm going to put it back in the oven for another 15 minutes. And even some of the tomatoes, you see how some of them are like nice and soft and wilty? Look at that, you see that? This one's like soft and the juice just exploded to make like a sauce down there. This one over here, nice and soft. Some of them are still pretty firm. So I'm gonna give this a stir. And I'm gonna put this back in the oven for another 15 minutes. Until everything is, the garlic has to be completely soft, and I want the tomatoes to be all wilty and delicious, juicy. So I'm going to put this back in for 15. Sorry guys, I did not realize my camera was not recording, but I basically took 2.5 cups of this part skim ricotta cheese, and I took about 2 cups of my homemade pasta sauce that I had in the freezer that I just defrosted. I made this in August with homegrown tomatoes that I was gifted. And I'll put the link to the sauce and the recipe in the comments if I can. Basically, it's a super easy homemade sauce that you can make without even boiling the tomatoes, without peeling them or anything. You just roast everything in the oven, some garlic, some onion, seasonings, the tomatoes, you roast everything in the oven, and then you just put it in the blender and just blend it until it's super smooth and silky, and that's it. You freeze it and you have fresh sauce whenever you want it. So I took the ricotta cheese, 2.5 cups of that with 2 cups of sauce, and I just mixed it together. I added a little bit of salt, and that's it. And now I am gonna take this fresh basil, and I'm gonna cut it in ribbons and mix it in the ricotta cheese. So I am just, oh, I love the smell of basil so much. It smells so good. I'm just gonna pick off all the leaves. Fresh basil smells so good. And I know I've mentioned this in my other videos, but I keep all my fresh herbs like basil, cilantro, parsley in the fridge in jars of water. This has the roots, so it lasts a really long time, but even the parsley and cilantro, if you buy it without the roots, you can put it in water in the fridge and it'll last pretty much about 3 weeks, which is much longer than it'll last if you just put it in a drawer or something. I'm going to save a little tiny bit to sprinkle over the top, but this is going to get chopped up. I'm just going to stack the leaves, roll them, and cut them thinly into ribbons. And then I'll mix it in the ricotta cheese. And that way, when the tomatoes, mushrooms, and onions, garlic comes out of the oven, I can pour the ricotta cheese and sauce in there, mix everything together, pour the boiled pasta in there, give everything a nice mix to get everything coated, and your pasta is ready. You can throw some grilled chicken slices on top of the pasta. You can do some grilled mushrooms. Shrimp. But today we're just having pasta and veggies. No shrimp, no chicken. See how I got this all in a nice, tight little bundle? Let me get my knife. I got this little itty bitty baby knife for now. It'll do fine. And I'm just cutting it into ribbons. And that's it. Okay, so we got the fresh basil. I'm going to add it to the ricotta cheese. If you don't have homemade sauce, obviously, you would just use about 2 cups of jar sauce, whatever your favorite sauce is. I'm losing my voice a little bit because I feel like I'm coming down with something. And I've been coughing a lot, but I don't feel too bad. So just mix this in. Okay. And even though you can't really see it, it's not that much. That amount of basil is going to give the pasta dish really good flavor. So put this back. I'm going to open my pasta. See that pasta? Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Love this stuff. I just picked all of the basil off of this, but I'm going to put this in the fridge because this has the roots on it, right? So will this keep growing? Will new basil sprout from here? I don't know. So I'm going to put it in the fridge and see what happens. Maybe it won't in the fridge, but if I leave it on the counter, it might. I'm not sure. But why wouldn't it grow? Because the roots are there and there's hydroponics, right? They grow food and water, so why wouldn't this grow? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm going to put it on the kitchen table by the window and see if this sprouts new basil. Okay, so the water started to boil, and this pasta boils quickly. It only takes 5 minutes. So I'm going to put my little beautiful nests of spinach pasta in there. And once it comes back up to a boil, you boil for 5 minutes, and that is it. I'm going to give this a stir. Starts breaking apart. See how the little nests, immediately start to come apart. Look at that. Gorgeous spinach pasta. Okay. Let that boil. 5 minutes. Okay, it's been 3 minutes. 2 more minutes, and this is done. Look at that. Beautiful pasta. All right. 2 more minutes, and that's done. So we got 2 minutes on the pasta, 5 minutes on the tomatoes in the oven, and the sauce is made. I'm gonna get the grated cheese. Okay. Okay guys, so this just came out of the oven. It was in there for a total of 1 hour and 20 minutes. And what I'm gonna do now is, I'm gonna come in with a fork and I'm gonna smash the garlic, just like that. It turns into like a paste. I can get this one off of here. See how it's like a paste? We want that all smushed up into the oil because that's gonna be part of the sauce. The garlic. Just like this. Okay, bring this over here, see if there's any more. Here we go. Smash the garlic up. Okay, done. Give that a good mix because you want that garlic mixed in really well. Give that all a mix, just like this. Look how good that looks. Okay, now to this, I am going to add the homemade tomato sauce and ricotta mixture, just like this. Just like that. And then to this, we are going to add the pasta. Get my gloves. There we go. That is the pasta. Yum. And now we are going to give all of this a good mix with the ricotta sauce, that garlic, tomato, mushrooms, and olive oil. Get everything well coated. And like I said, you can grill some shrimp or some chicken. You can serve this with some bread on the side to dip in this amazing, yummy, creamy sauce. So, I'm going to use 2 forks. Just like this. And after you serve the pasta, if you have leftover sauce at the bottom, don't throw it away. You can put that over a piece of grilled chicken. Delicious. You can put it over some more pasta that you can boil. You could make a dipping plate with bread. Okay, I'm going to serve up some of this delicious pasta. Just like this. All right. So we have this delicious, creamy ricotta cheese, tomato, spinach, garlic pasta with mushrooms. I'm going to put a little bit of parm right on top. And I'm going to sprinkle it with a little tiny bit of fresh basil, just like this. And voila, folks. Dinner is served. Okay, guys, let's give this a try. It's creamy. Oh my God, so good. Let's see. That is so good. You would think if you're getting this at a restaurant that it had cream in it, but it doesn't. It's the part skim ricotta cheese. This, my friends, is a delicious creamy tomato ricotta cheese pasta. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you give this a try and you love it as much as we do. Bye.